Have we forgotten to sympathize with others when they are suffering? And do you still believe that you have some humanity left? Or have you accepted that you are an animal?
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Are they yelling in Atlanta?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
Stick your head out of the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell, I'm not going to take this anymore! Just get up from your chairs.
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
I'm not gonna take it anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
We ready?
Let's fucking go.
Hey, so they taught that I would never measure up. They taught me that I should get my treasure up. Do you go along there? Cause you're no fair head. At any time a hairy girl, you better get married. But now I'm shaking my head, cause I'm thinking instead I got the measurements, it's just enough to activate. I got the ruler, I'm short enough to try the game. Slick enough to slip my chains, strong enough to throw my way. Guess it's on my list to break.
Today we're going to be getting into something that's so broad. We kind of see it in different aspects of our lives. Criminalizing human experience, right? We criminalize a lot of different things. Think about it as coming into those like old 10 commandments, thou shalt not, right? Or more current parlance, you're not supposed to, right? So you're not supposed to kill someone.
Right.
You're not supposed to rape someone.
Right.
You're not supposed to molest children.
Right.
You're not supposed to beat the shit out of your neighbor and take all their stuff.
No.
Right?
Please don't do that.
So we say
Any of
you're
those
not supposed to do those things. But we don't actually spend a lot of time enforcing a lot of those you're not supposed to. Right? Because we may not beat the crap out of our neighbor and take their stuff, but there's a local development company that will absolutely find a way to take this block of housing I live in and take all our stuff because they want to build something new there. Right. So there's a way to do that, right? Mm-hmm. There's also not, unless you tell me, especially because this is something that is happening in such a larger extent to women. Historically, it's been that relative to women, but also relative to children of both genders, sexual violence, right? That's always defended and prosecuted by the police and the state attorney, right? No. Women are always championed in those spaces.
No.
No?
No.
You don't feel...
Most of the time you don't even want to go and have to retell your story to a group of whoever, you know, that seems like it was somebody that looked like you or, you know.
Yeah. So we're not, you know, those things are criminalized, but we don't really spend a lot of time championing the cause of victims in those spaces. The victims of predatory lending, predatory development, predatory people who want to like ravage your personal estate, being your body and yourself. But boy, if you don't have a place to go, you're a houseless person, you're fucked.
Yeah.
They will come.
They will hunt your ass down.
Yeah.
They will throw your shit away.
If you are just living out your existence as a person of color, taking a walk because you're feeling a lot of stress, they will come for you because, man, why are you walking while being especially black? It's not so much happening to Indians, but it is happening to Latinx people, you know, definitely that. You know, like, why are you walking around? What, like, you're supposed to be working, or you just disappear into whatever hole you like go to. But why can't I see you? Right? But then there's also a lot of other issues relative to things that are demonized in one sense but exploited in the other, right? Nobody's criminalizing pimps of all kinds, because to exploit women for sexual labor and men is business. But if a woman capitalizes on her own, let's say as an example, on her own body and self through sex work, that's criminalized. And she's immediately like Scarlet Letter, all of that.
Yeah.
You're that now, right? They're
And
doing
it
that
happens
too. Yeah.
very young. It happens very young. People think like, even in my mind, even though I know, even in my mind, it's like a picture of like an older person and more like, well, they've been in this game for a long time as a sex worker. But you don't think about the children, even say that are in the system, the children that are, that have been in the system. It's like, this was my taste. This was my way in. They took me from my parents, or I didn't grow up with my parents. And so many things happened to me. I was raped. I was molested. I was, forced to have sex with other people. And then it became my only way out was to go and make money and be on my own instead of be raped and, control how that happened.
Yes.
But now at a very, very, very young age, I have this stamp on me, and everyone looking, it's public record, and everyone looking is like, well, that's what you are. That's your job description. And it makes it hard to change that. Even though I might be away from those circumstances, I'm not, because now you've pasted that on me.
You made me the villain of our story. You said I could be ruler of our neighborhood. You made me the villain of our story. You spread the tale that deep down I'm no good. Let me set the record straight. Before my soul the gods forsake. They call me criminal, cause I bring the fight. But they don't know what's right. Stealing minds through the subliminal, like thieves in the night. No, they don't know what's right.
Right. It's an important thing that you also said. When a woman makes even the most traumatic experiences her choice, that's the tipping point, right? Like that's you. Whoa, are you trying to consolidate any kind of power through this? Like, no, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Criminalized, right? Criminalized in legal respects, but also in the social view. Like
very much so.
You are that. You're dirty now. You're this. In so many cases, in cases that one could even think like one wouldn't expect to see, there are choices every day made likely predominantly by women towards even a short season of sex work just to survive, to not lose this, to not lose your children, to not lose whatever the case is. To think of even making that decision as a survival decision and what that does, especially with a history of having that forced upon you, but to do it to survive and to think about that scenario as a criminal scenario is remarkable. And then what we're doing further than that is criminalizing, as we can see up here, criminalizing mental health, because that compounds those issues. But you're not like, I need to go to therapy. It's, you're stuck with that. You have no access, and you are then criminalized for a deteriorating mental health state.
It's all part of the oppressive objective, defeat of the collective. My God is so regressive, they treat us so aggressive. It triggers my obsession, my people need a session. Now with the latest fashion, distractions I just pass them. Man, I roll two up and pass him one. Can't buy nothing except guns, and that's the sound when I ricochets. She hit the ground and went up in a blaze, but now I'm shaking my head, cause it's in this bloodshed. I got the measurements, it's just enough to activate. I got the ruler, I'm short enough to tread the gate.
What do you think? Are we getting our feet wet here with the idea of like how much is just criminalized? Like you just like,
oh, we're just
like,
getting our toes wet.
Yeah.
It's insane, but I love our way in, even, just talking about how it's not just the criminalization too, it's also the way your social sphere even judges you or condemns you, and that is like a closer effect, you know what I'm saying? And then you maybe go out and are trying to trying to move forward, but that is still in your mind. Like, my own social structure condemns me for things that happened and the way that I choose to turn that around in my life. And you go on and like it, so it becomes criminal in your own mind very, very easily. Very easily. You become criminal. Your life, your circumstance becomes criminal in your own mind.
Thought I was nothing but a castaway. All my past experience made it seem that way. Sorry, but that prophecy will have to wait. Aim for all the barriers, it's time to break. Fear of being weak caused me to hide my face. Sliced through all my demons, couldn't escape my pain. Join hands, don't let me be the only one. Drawing down the moon and calling out the sun.
Beautiful point, because that's precisely the outcome. Like, ultimately, you move through enough spaces in which the things that you do, how you don't have a place to call a home or even a house to exist in, you don't have the access to care that can improve your circumstances, you have a history, and not even a history, but a lack of history that would produce you as being an employable person, or even employable in any way that dare we say that you have a right to even feel fulfilled as a human being. Like, not that, you know, it's
we
just,
dare say it.
yeah, slave, you know, like labor. This is what you're good for. And all of that, all the developmental work that we've done in community with individuals, like the idea that the end effect is a human being existing day to day with a feeling of just being wrong. I am wrong. I am the blight on this community. And you know, then you wonder about suicidal ideation and suicide rates amongst people, obviously with mental health issues, but it's never just mental health issues. It's intersectional. Yeah. It's mental health issues that are houseless, that don't have access to care, that have, you know, gender dysphoria, that have a lot of different issues that are unaddressed, that cross. But it's not even just that it is an amalgam of unmet needs. It is that you are wrong for all of these things. The things that you, not that even you even do, the things that you are not right.
Or what's wrong with society? Like, are the cause of the problem? Is at least that's what it seems.
But no one's, you know, society holds the power. It holds the cards.
Right,
So
but that's not how it actually is.
Yeah.
But that's how it's meant to seem, and that's how, you know, we do wind up seeing ourselves in that way, and even seeing our neighbors, our friends, our family members, our people we don't know, strangers, just people in the community, our children, our children's friends, you know, and so on and so forth. We see them in a way that's like, nah, other, you know, and that, I think, is that's a part of society that we don't really talk about. Yes, of course, because if it's going to be us addressing some of these issues or talking about them, but doing more than just talking about them, you know, we have to recognize where internally I feel the same way. Like, I'd rather you not be there. I'd rather not see you. I'd rather not. I've been conditioned to feel that way. And so since I'm just doing, maybe I'm just freaking hanging on, and like, really, bro, really somewhere along the way, I'm angry because you're showing what I feel, you know, but nope, no time for that. I gotta do whatever it is I'm doing to maintain what I have, maintain my status, whether it's high, low, whatever, but like, and we keep that systemic issue going live, you know, keep that systemic othering, like, you're the rot. I think that part is the rot, you know?
Yeah. Crazy how it's probably takes the most work to keep a low status. Yeah. There's no cumulative benefit. High status, it just kind of adds to itself. But you're just hanging on by a thread for a low status. Like that takes all the work. That takes all the work.
Yeah.
Let's kind of get into the research that we did for it. You know, there's some stuff that we're gonna look at that, you know, other creators have done a really good job with, and some really powerful voices. But just to kind of get into aspects of story that are very personal, that speak a lot, you know, kind of from the very specific, we can come to a broader understanding, you know, of the things that are always at work, you know, where we are. So this is an idea, right? That's kind of like close to your heart. The idea that at the school that your daughter's go to, suddenly the first thing you noticed was this like strange militarization, right? Like there's a gate now. There's like all sorts of like blocks and, you know, restrictions and stuff. And I'm reminded by the like Goody Mob song, right? Cell Therapy, right? Like you know, they you know, they put a gate up, right? And is it to keep crime out or to keep our ass in?
Strong will was born underneath the watchful eyes. They tell me who to be and how to live to survive. I ain't been nobody's property since 1865. So now they wanna copy me and bury me alive. Under debt, they collect, cause I signed a couple checks. Now I'm hooked into the net, being dragged behind a jet. But now I'm shaking my head, cause I'm thinking instead. I got the measurements, it's just enough to activate. I got the ruler, I'm short enough to trap the gate. Slick enough to slip my chains, strong enough to throw my way. Guess what's on my list to break?
And what a brilliant like call out, you know, and that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But you saw that, and then you saw a lot of other policies that seemed very like top-down authoritarian, right? Like it was like, you know, the school is not doing well. Like it didn't have a passing grade.
Right.
So what we're gonna do is the adjustment we're gonna make is just make the students work longer, harder, cut their vacation times short. You're gonna have to like really lock down and hustle to make it better for us being the school administrators, right? Not that it is like educators thinking these children aren't learning well. That's on us. We need to do something different. We need to improve our pedagogy, because God knows if we have them for like 6 hours a day, it's not going to be improved by 7 or 7.5 hours a day. Or if we have them for, you know, 275 days a year or whatever it is, you know, it's not going to help to have them for 300 days a year. Like if your pedagogy, if your approach to education sucks and is not working with kids, don't crack the whip harder.
Right. It was utter chaos. And even us parents were just shaking our heads at each other. Like as we passed, we weren't even speaking, barely. We were just looking at each other in the eyes and just shaking our heads. The superintendent and I was like, okay, you're here to pretend like everything's cool because there's a camera over there. And meanwhile, because it was so confusing and the gate was locked and people kept yelling back different directions, we became, you know, late for the 5 minutes we were standing there figuring it out. And because there was a line of people that needed to go in, and my thing was like, can they go to breakfast? Because breakfast used to be, there's a 15-minute window for you to go to breakfast. Well, I didn't get the memo that is ended now. When the gate's locked, forget about it, go to class, hungry or not.
Let's set the stage a little bit, right?
Yeah.
This school is in a community that is economically depressed.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people living with a lot of subsidies and assistance, so they are teetering at the poverty line. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
There are kids amongst all these families within this community that need an education, so they come to this school. And this school then is the only school in this entire city that we live in that has cut its vacation year short and extended its school year. So because that was happening, because this school was opening early when multiple other kids are off for several more weeks, there was a news crew, local TV news crew, there to film the opening of this school. Like, we're doing things to make things better, right? Again, because the school had a failing grade within, and that is, there are consequences for that within this state. So, and within this school board, the school district. So all of that was happening, but there was not really any let's all gather together and face this challenge as a community. No meeting, no bringing the parents in. Not that every parent would show up, but parents may show up when they're like, wait, what? They have to go back to school? Like, what's happening? To do any of that, it was just minimal communication. Then you arrived there and learned that one of the most important things, because remember, we're talking about criminalizing human experience. This is criminalizing poverty because it is placing that stamp of wrongness on being in a certain socioeconomic state, right? That's not a good thing. You fucked up for being there. And so you have to figure that stuff out. And, you know, you just, like, you don't get breakfast. You have to just move through, even though my question at that time becomes, like, there is, by the standards of this school board, not a way that kids who need that food in the morning, through the day, even into their, I mean, these kind of assistance programs exist. They should be able to get that breakfast. So that's not a not for nothing thing. That's a like huge shit.
That is
right. So having localized earthquakes here in the city. I didn't feel
you said
the tremors
huge
there.
shift, and there was one.
And there was one, right? But that's a really big thing. And that then is further, it's not necessarily, I mean, we're at some points we're going to use the word criminalizing loosely because it's not like an actual, you know, legislative policy that says this thing you're doing is wrong, like houselessness, right? That's a thing. But there's a we can use the other word, which isn't necessarily criminalizing in terms of policy, but it's stigmatizing, right? So you're stigmatizing, you're placing a wrongness, right, on poverty, a wrongness. You're poor and you're obviously not prepared. Well, sorry, you know, you don't get to eat. Go learn, even though we know that that is a very difficult thing for developing brains to do when they are chronically hungry.
Right.
So it's not for nothing, right? Like that was a big sign. That was a big signifier for them to say, get on in.
And it really was I had a moment because it's like, okay, we're I'm always trying not to. I have to be very careful how I express myself, my anger, my disappointment, my frustration, you know. But it was like, okay, what to do in this moment, because I really wanted to be like, you know what, I wasn't even late a few minutes ago while y'all were figuring it out, but I'm gonna take them home and feed them food, and then we'll just be later, because while they keep making the importance about be on time, okay, be on time and be hungry, and how you know already statistically how that works. We already have those stats are in, they've been in for a while. So what's important to them is obvious, that it's about paperwork and funding, and not so much, and I'm not saying teachers, because thank goodness for some individual teachers that are caring and maybe they have snacks in their class or something, but this isn't just that teacher's responsibility to empty her coffers when she's not paid very well anyways, or he, and it should be looked at as the school's responsibility, not, well, you parents need to just, do you know what we're doing, or do you just assume? And there's a whole lot of assumptions. So I had to think in that moment, like, how do I respond and, to this? And I let them go through, and because I looked at their faces and gauge their excitement. And, well, I hope that excitement is enough to carry you through, baby, till lunch. But the next day, it just puts an extra stress. And I was so much more prepared, and I made sure that, no, it adds a terror, actually, to a level of like, okay, if they don't get there, maybe I'm fixing their hair right now, maybe somebody didn't feel good, and they're just like, okay, we'll take a shower, and we're a little bit slow moving. But if they don't get there that time, that gate is locked in their faces.
I'm late, cause life's been choking me out. I'm late, cause my wings still have yet to sprout. Been late, cause my demons been stomping my head. Do you really wanna push me all the way off the edge? Oh great, here comes that human. I'm late, cause the monkey's been on my back, and he looks just like that picture of your great-granddad. I'm late, cause I always cling into my bed, just drown out all the voices that rule my head. Oh great, here comes that human.
And they have to walk the walk of shame through to get the note to say, I'm tardy, and I don't get to eat.
I'm tardy, I don't get to eat. And all of the, it's not just you have to be better prepared, your time management, which is usually the answer for anyone who is in a position of greater adversity trying to meet a particular goal, that comes from someone who doesn't experience that and is imposing these constraints on the meeting of that goal, rather than it is understood that the lives of many people in this community that this school is supposed to serve are all over the place. The previous night for someone who may be late is not just, oh, they're just late again. The previous night may have been the 500th incident of unreported or unexamined domestic violence. And they just kind of went to bed. I knew that. Even when I was younger, I knew having to deal with the internal strife. Many students know that in many different circumstances, dealing with awful things that are happening in the home and just having to meet that unyielding, sorry, you're late, or sorry, you're not paying attention, or sorry, you're not doing well, any of those things, but not addressing those reasons why. And that problem exists because if that institution, that school, did actually change to serve this particular community, because obviously this is the only school changing in this entire city to do a particular thing that other schools aren't doing. So we know that can be done. So if this school just changed, even the hours and the structure and the whatever, did something radical to serve some kids just don't do well at a particular amount of time. Some kids don't need 6 hours of constant, being talked to. They could do more with less if they're engaged in a greater way. Whatever the case is. right? This isn't the moment to have all the answers. This is the moment to interrogate the problems.
We stardust or ancient clay. What truth do the galaxies convey? Meteor showers light the path, celestial whispers in our bath. Nebulas paint a glowing trail, through the cosmos we set sail. Black holes hum a haunting song, dark matter pulling us along. Alien whispers in the night, guiding us with eerie light. Space is why we're missing.